Over the past few months, Fallout 76 has really developed a somewhat significant hacking problem. We saw several high-profile and major hacks enter into the game, as hackers gained the ability to create and spawn in their own legendary items, causing damage to the economy that still has yet to be resolved, or even the significantly more harmful inventory steal hack where users were able to entirely steal another player's inventory. Those were just two of the high-profile ones. Separate from that, we have of course seen a ton in the way of nuclear winter or the battle royale hacks. Stuff you find just typically with battle royales in general, people flying around, auto-headshotting enemies, and a myriad of other cheats. Although just recently, a brand new hack has come onto the scene with Fallout 76. It's called Erectus, and it actually comes from the mod author behind the inventory steal hack, and those hacks allowed you to spawn in items or props. So definitely somebody who has caused some significant harm to this game, both PR-wise and even in-game, both in the economy and just frustration out of losing your items. And although this latest hack probably isn't the worst out of the bunch, it still is pretty bad and has the potential to cause quite significant harm in the game. So technically right now, if you own Fallout 76 on PC, you can download this new Erectus tool for free, and it will give you an ESP for most players, NPCs, and items. An ESP basically making it so you could see players, items, or other NPCs through walls, which of course is immensely valuable, including in Nuclear Winter. And even further, in the Nuclear Winter game mode, this ESP can bypass the fog of war, so you can see quite literally everyone in your match's exact position. There's an item auto-looter functionality, which we actually saw a video of not too long ago. This basically make it so you could select certain items and it'll just loot those items from things in your general area. So in adventure mode, this isn't quite as harmful. You can just get a bunch of junk, which is pretty powerful, but not game breaking for other players. Or alternatively, in Nuclear Winter, you could immediately get pretty kitted, having some of the top tier items or weapons. But now what is probably the more harmful side of this, especially with Fallout 76's Battle Royale mode, it also gives you several aspects of other paid hacks. A projectile redirector, so you could just now fire into the sky and those bullets will hit enemies. No clip, so you can fly around freely at varying speeds, but also unlimited AP, so you could run forever, unlimited jump height, unlimited strength, and the ability to teleport around. And one little bonus option with this tool is you could also transfer items to your stash freely, giving you effectively unlimited stash weight. So even if you hit that limit, you could just transfer items in there manually and it still will go in there. So this tool is actually pretty dangerous for a couple of reasons. One, it's really easy to use, so people who haven't hacked in the game before or haven't used Nuclear Winter hacks in particular may be appealed to this one, because they know the developer of it, as he has had those high profile tools or hacks in the past, but also is free, but actually offers the options of some of those paid hacks that we already have for Fallout 76. And then finally, again, it just is really easy. It's basically console commands or general cheats you would see in video games, except they're not by the developer and they're actually usable even on other players in a malicious way. I would argue this isn't quite as bad as something as the inventory steal hack, as that isn't possible with this, and in particular, this is predominantly harmful in the Nuclear Winter or Battle Royale mode, which already suffers from a myriad of hacking problems. We've seen videos for months of people hacking in that pretty overtly and sometimes only getting temp bans or not getting banned timely enough. And separate from some of the pretty obvious in-game issues this will cause inevitably for Fallout 76, this also is somewhat revealing. The inventory steal hack for Fallout 76 garnered a ton of attention for the author behind it and even just from YouTubers / the media. In particular, I would like to call it the media for their absolutely horrible coverage of this. Bethesda was fairly quick to patch things once it went live, just literally in 24 hours, but there were a ton of articles that would report on it after the patch going live, but then fail to mention that it doesn't work anymore. But if you could create something that high profile, that got that many eyeballs on it, and such a swift response from Bethesda, now even some of the compensation months later, but then to keep doing it later is kind of crazy. If they couldn't get him with that past one, I have doubts that they're going to stop him on this one or whatever future hacks he inevitably does create, especially as the game likely gets more popular with Wastelanders. With some of the other major hacks, people that abuse them saw hardware ID bans, and likely the same thing will happen here. But hardware ID bans, although being very good, making it so Bethesda not only bans your main account that abused the hack, but even other alternate accounts that you may have, and potentially even future accounts that you do create, but there are ways around that, and clearly that wasn't effective enough at stopping this particular user or even some of the other ones. Separate from that, this also reveals that better anti-cheat is still needed. There are some reports that there is an improved anti-cheat coming with Wastelanders, but hopefully it is enough. As I would argue that even the fact that a tool like this is possible, giving you the ability to fly through objects and just around in general in the Battle Royale mode, is probably not a good sign. The Battle Royale mode has been out for over 6 months now. There's definitely been time to add in preventative measures around this stuff, but it hasn't happened yet. And it's not like this is some brand new problem, but rather this is just the latest hack that actually abuses it. Separate from that, just an overall comment on the Battle Royale hackers in general. Some of them definitely are getting banned. Again, those who are more overt, just clearly flying around or breaking the game in an obvious way. One of the issues with that is, though, some people are more subtle about hacking in Nuclear Winter. Like just earlier today, I feel like I got killed by a hacker. I was invisible, they somehow knew exactly where I was at multiple points, even though I broke line of sight and was running around as invisible. Now to me, that is immensely suspicious, and I suspect they may even be using this latest hack that just released. But I can't necessarily prove that, and likely Bethesda can't either, and I think that's a major problem we see somewhat, which leads to many users in the community maintaining these almost suspected cheater lists of people that are high ranked but don't get banned. And it's not really clear if they're just very good or actually hacking. In the future, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with this one, to see if Bethesda does have a quick and snappy response like they did in the past. It already has been roughly 36 hours since it was released, although it obviously isn't quite as popular or harmful. Although separate from that, I also do want to mention that Bethesda has recently had several efforts to actually raise money for Australia, and that of course around some of the fires that have recently been going on there, and actually quite devastating. They just recently released a Responders t-shirt where you can see a responder holding a koala. 100% of the profits from the purchase of this shirt will be going to the Australian Salvation Army. And separately, there are actually going to be several live streams coming from Bethesda officially, but also 2K Games, this being of Skyrim and Borderlands 3 respectively. This is still a couple of weeks away, taking place on February 15th in Australia, so it'll vary by time zone to time zone, and with Australia also slightly by day to day. I'll have links to both of these down below if you guys do want to support, whether it be donating during the live stream or just picking up a cool shirt for yourself, but the proceeds go to a genuinely good cause. And it is of course really nice to see Bethesda getting involved with this. But to end off this video, the Fallout 76 issues do continue somewhat. If you're watching this video when it's released, tomorrow we should be getting a new trailer for Wastelanders. And with that, I think there is a high probability of a release date, but also just a ton in the way of new details. I'm going to have a full video breaking that down, but also I'm just excited to see what happens next. Will Wastelanders really be this recovery from Bethesda? There are several issues, not only as far as the in-game content goes, but also around things like hacks, bugs, and even Bethesda's management. And I do have some questions around whether or not Wastelanders will be able to fix all of them, or just some of the major ones while some others linger. Either way, with all of that being said, I thank you again for watching, and with that, I'm very excited to see you guys all tomorrow. Later.